Welcome back, listeners. Thanks for joining us here on the Hero Whispers podcast by Supergirls, aka that's me, Chief Supergirl Jeannie McPhillips, with you here tonight. We have an amazing guest, La Terapista Roquera. We have Miss Yesenia Arias. Now, before I get you all fired up about her, I just want to kind of rein you in and give you a little update and brief bio of what we are at Supergirls in case you guys are new out there and you haven't been listening to the Hero Whispers before. We are a platform created to inspire and empower college women to launch from college to life, helping them with the tools in their toolbox they need to have a fabulous life when they graduate. And the Hero Whispers, we interview some of these women that are in college, some that have graduated and become fabulous, like Yesenia tonight that we're going to talk to, and hear about their story and what they are doing out there in the world, because this is the way of the future. These girls are our future. So we're so excited to have her here tonight. Yesenia Arias is a 28-year-old Bolivian-American mental health counselor. She attended the College of William & Mary, my alma mater, obtaining her bachelor's degree in English and psychology in 2013, and Boston College to complete her master's degree in mental health counseling in 2015. She currently works as a bilingual mental health counselor with the nonprofit agency of Northern Virginia Family Service and is a licensed professional counselor in the District of Columbia. Her focus as a counselor has been centered on working with youth and adults on issues of depression, anxiety, PTSD, and identity and acculturation. Yesenia is also an aspiring novelist, writing stories centered around depicting mental health issues and the barriers Latino and other marginalized communities face in this country. She currently has a blog called La Terapista Roquera, in which she delves into topics surrounding mental health and shares poetry and art. Yessie, thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
What an amazing bio you have, first of all. Let me just say, you are doing so many cool things already at your young age. You have so much more to go, but you're already like killing it out there. So congratulations on all of that.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, before we start talking about all the amazing things you're doing, I absolutely love the title, La Terapista Roquera. First of all, I love saying it. Such an awesome flow of the tongue, and it just says, when you say it, roquera, I'm probably not even pronouncing it right, but it's just with such force. It's so bold. And how did you come up with that name?
Well, I don't know, honestly. I think, well, if I can be honest, like I wanted it to be something in Spanish, just because it reflects a lot about who I am. And I always have realized as I've been in the field that I'm not like falling into the norm of what it is to be a therapist. So I thought labeling myself as rocker felt more appropriate, like leather jacket, boots. That is very much me. And so that felt like more capturing what I have to offer, I think. And not just in the sense of like who I am as a counselor, but who I am as a person.
I mean, even to the point where you have it on your Instagram, Rockin' Bird. That is so cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just so you guys know, listeners, that's her Instagram, Rock and Bird. So like you might never ever find her if you didn't know that. So I'm putting it out there right now. If you want to follow her, you need to know that. But it also has another meaning, right? I mean, it's like the rock. It's like you are, for a lot of people, you probably are their rock, their strength. You help them find their strength, their inner strength that they need. And I'm not going to tell your story, but I feel like it has that meaning. And to some people, it's probably really, really inspirational, that you have that.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. I've never made that kind of connection to it, but thank you.
Oh my God, no way. It's totally like it's a double-edged sword there. So, okay. So how did you, the question of the night is, I'm so fascinated by people in your profession and what you guys do and how amazing you are. Why did you choose this profession of mental health?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of us in the profession, when we get that question, it is a very complex answer. Mostly, I think a lot of us are either really interested in it or we've been touched by it. And I think for me, it's been both. So from a young age, my family was touched by social services. And when I absorbed that, I didn't like what that meant, at least what I understood at that age. And then later going on into my college life, I actually did lose a friend to suicide. And that kind of left a big hole and impact in my life where I kind of had to stand face to face with what depression, what struggling like that meant, and really kind of had this opportunity and also a painful opportunity, I guess, to look at myself and how I had been struggling with it personally. So in a lot of ways, I have been touched by it, but I've also been interested in it. And after that happened, I kind of had to decide on what this meant. And I think going through therapy myself helped me realize why it was important, and why it was a valuable tool that I had misunderstood as a child. And so after all that, I'm here, and this field has kind of called upon me, and I don't necessarily know if I chose it or if it chose me, but here we are.
That is so cool. I love that it chose you. I mean, and I love that you listen to that voice. That's so spiritual, so powerful. And yeah. I'm so sorry about your friend.
Thank you.
The suicide. The college suicide rate is just so scary. And I just want to talk about that just for a moment. Because it's so important. And did you, when you lost your friend, were they depressed? I mean, were there any reasons for them to be depressed, or they were just depressed because it was part of their DNA and their makeup?
Well, I think that's the hard thing about something like suicide. No one ever sees it coming, or that's what you hear. And so to tell you that I know what was going on, I don't. And I think a lot of people usually don't really understand. And that's, I think it can be a mixture of things. So in this case, it was a lot of maybe the stress of, you very well know that women marry is an intense space.
Oh my God.
And that, yeah. And mental health there is a big issue because of it, but there's also just individual factors that I'm probably never going to know. Depression can be one of them, but for this person in particular, what I saw in her was just a big bright light. And I had no idea if she was struggling, and I never was close enough to her to be able to have those conversations about it either. And I think a lot of the times people do see signs, and maybe people do see depression, in the way that most of us think about it, just looking sad, being unable to do things, or be out and about. But sometimes it's not that easy. I mean, look at celebrities we know, like Robin Williams. No one would think that he was struggling with it, but I think it has different faces, and that's where we as people struggle to kind of understand that this isn't just it is a symptom of depression, but it's not the only thing that might be playing into it.
Yeah, Robin Williams. Oh, he was one of my favorites. He was so super funny. It's such a dichotomy, and that was crazy. But I just did a live event at this past weekend at Stockton University in New Jersey, and one of the things that came up when the girls talked about different obstacles they were having as they're thinking about graduating was their stress and anxiety. And so it's real and raw, and I know William & Mary was stressful, but I think a lot of colleges, it depends on the individual. They feel stress, and they feel this, and in today's environment with everything that's going on, it's just more stuff to handle. And so what you're doing is really valuable and really amazing. So thank you for making that decision to help people with your choices.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big reason why I'm doing it. I think the same people that helped me be here today by serving me as a therapist. Like, I think they're the same reason that I'm here now myself. Like, I think for me, it was a calling in some sense where like I felt that I have to be this person doing this. Whether I'm doing a great job, I don't know. I think it's really hard to know, but I'm trying to do my best.
Yeah, I mean, if you touch one life, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's just simply amazing. So,
Yeah.
do you have any stories about any particular clients that you helped that you actually remember, or they told you helped them, or anything like that?
I have dozens of stories, so it's
I bet. I
like
bet.
really hard to pick one specifically, or to tell you how amazing they all were, because I can't give you extreme details about anyone. But I can tell you that I've worked with survivors of like sexual assault, especially happening in their childhood, and seeing them struggle, seeing them through the darkest moments, where they felt like they were never going to get out. And I think the biggest healing factor for me in therapy is, I mean, the tools really help, like knowing how to deal with stress and knowing how to deal with like anxiety and things like that, and walking through the sadness. But I think for me, the biggest healing factor is just having this other human witnessing a lot of the pain with you, and sitting with it and not running away from it. And I know that I have to do a lot of that with some of my clients, and that to them just meant the world, because a lot of people, in hearing their experiences and their stories, turned away or shamed them for it. And so I think that has been like the most magnificent gift of this profession for me, is just being able to sit there in a lot of pain, and just be okay with that discomfort and acknowledge that person's pain is real and walk them through trying to move beyond that pain. So yeah, like it's hard to name a specific case, but I can tell you that as I'm talking about all this, like I'm thinking, like a lot of faces are coming up for me, of different people that have, like, I sat with their pain, and like I hope that has been healing, and to some of them has, like their lives do change in small ways or in big ways.
I mean, it's interesting that you focus on that part of it, because it's like a lot of people just want to bury it, right? And they don't.
Yeah.
And that's why they continually have issues, because I mean you're the expert, but this is kind of what I see. And like,
Mm-hmm.
I tell people, like my friends and my son and my family, like, you have to feel the sadness, like you have to move through it, like you just said, like you have to let it
Yeah.
overwhelm you. You have to, I don't know, like you have to feel it. You can't just bury it and pretend like it's not there, because that's what you want to do. You want to just be like, I'm okay, I got this.
Yeah.
But like you're
Yeah.
saying, you're telling people it's okay to not have it, and like validate them, right? Kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of us do have that innate reaction to just push it aside, just, like I have to push through, I have to be okay, because that's kind of what the world demands of us. But at the end of the day, like, you can push it aside and maybe you'll be okay, but most of the times you're not. And it does pop up every now and then. And that's not like living the life that you probably want to live. And that's why, like, being able to sit with that pain, at least in a contained way, like you can in therapy, where it does feel safe, and you feel reassured through it, like, it can be a very healing experience. It's not just about like sitting there and crying through it, but it's like knowing that you're not alone in it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah, there's so many people that need that. So
Mhm.
how did you know, from you graduated, you graduated with psychology and English, and then you
Yeah,
went to get your master's, but you didn't go right away, or did you?
I did. I
Oh,
did
you
go
went
right
right
away.
out. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think I walked out. So the psychology